the man never expected. He was just 2.5 minutes late. Unexpectedly, the skill list was completely picked clean. Only some worthless skills left by others. But the most ridiculous thing was, there was actually a skill called Villager Reset. The protagonist refused on the spot. He feared he might die as soon as he arrived in another world. So to compensate the protagonist, the god gave him all the remaining worthless skills. But even so, the protagonist still thought it was a hellish difficulty start. Little did he know that each skill he had very powerful abilities. On the first day in another world, the first to appear was Villager Reset. When he opened it, he was shocked to find this clothes bag was actually an infinite storage space bag, containing items once used by Villager A. Then he prepared to check his ability values. At this time another worthless skill popped up. The person with this skill determines an ability value by rolling 2 dice. But even with extreme luck, the highest 2 dice can roll is 12. Undoubtedly the most worthless skill. But when the protagonist rolled the dice, the result was actually 2 M's. The protagonist was speechless. Could it be that his potential orientation was actually M? He didn't think much about it. Randomly added this result to his luck value. But when the interface came out he was stunned. Unexpectedly, the M on the dice meant max. Then the remaining skills. He didn't know their use for the time being. But he found 2 new titles in the skill list. Because he was summoned alone, the world determined he was a loner. The title ability was to servitude monsters. The protagonist couldn't help but complain. He was originally a loner in the class. As a result, he had no chance to achieve a harem in another world. But he was used to it. Before coming to another world, he was also alone. His biggest hobby was quietly reading novels. When the whole class came to another world, he first looked for various ways to escape the teleportation array. After all, the good novels were not finished. The favorite anime was not concluded, so he was 2.5 minutes late, causing the skills to be picked by classmates. And now he decided to find a safe shelter first. After all, survival was the most important, so he searched for materials in this forest. Suddenly he remembered a worthless skill called Contact Lens. Sure enough, this skill also had an extra effect. Not only did his vision become very clear, but all the materials in sight would display their names. Until he checked, he found that through Contact Lens, he actually obtained the appraisal skill. With appraisal it was really convenient. He found edible mushrooms and herbs, then put them all into the space backpack. Infinite capacity, no problem how much to put. After solving food and water sources, the protagonist found a safe cave. Max luck value was indeed extraordinary. It was estimated that with time, this ability would only have more heaven-defying effects. Then the protagonist took out tents and lanterns, used by villagers from Villager A's bag. Both items had the effect of repelling insects and monsters. At night the protagonist collected dead leaves. Worthless skills temperature magic derived fire magic, feeling the warmth of the fire. For the first time he felt these worthless skills were not completely useless.